What's up, everybody? My name is Nozibela Kamganamayaba. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you stay. If you are new, it's very nice here. Okay, so please hit the subscription button. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. Really appreciate you. Guys, I didn't realize that there was a need to do this video because I believe that I covered this about 2 years ago. HIV and traveling overseas, relocating overseas. And I remember I referenced China. You know how South Africans, as soon as they graduate, because they can't find a job in South Africa, then they apply for teaching, opportunities in China, particularly around like the Asian countries. And if you are living with HIV, you are not accepted into the program, and they find out before you go, you are not accepted into the program. Or you find out when you're already that side, there is a chance that you are deported because you're living with HIV, because they have restrictions around that. But China is not an exception, and this is what I'm going to explain in this video. So because I did that video some time ago, I thought people, everyone is aware of what is going on, and that's a huge assumption that I should not have. And that is a lot of a mistake that we often make, that because you have this information, then you kind of think that everyone has this information. That's not the case. Because as soon as I went to Dubai and as soon as I came back, I started sharing the content. A lot of people were on my DMs asking these related questions. Did you have any restrictions? What should I say when I'm applying for a visa? Should I declare up front? Should I have a prescription? A certificate explaining what the prescription is for? What should I do? What if I want to relocate to these countries? What is the process that is involved in this? So this is what I'm going to explain in this video, but also I'm going to dive more into like the preps relating to the Dubai vacation. I'm not gonna dwell into the costs because that makes me feel uncomfortable. I really thought about it like that. Honestly makes me feel uncomfortable. However, I'm going to direct you in terms of where you should go, the websites that we use, whether we use a travel agent or not, and what you should basically expect more or less from a cost perspective as soon as you are that side. Okay, so let me first start with the restrictions around people living with HIV. Guys, worldwide, each country has some sort of conditions, restrictions relating to people living with HIV. Either they will have a restriction around entry. It doesn't matter how long you stay. Just for you to enter the country, they will have a restriction. Or they have a restriction with relating to you staying longer than 6 months, right? Or you staying there permanently, either for work or just relocating. Okay, so I'm not going to be able to give specifically which country has all of this, but however, I did find a very useful website that you can go to that can give you like literally a list of countries and explain which one has these restrictions and what kind of restrictions do they have. So it's called www.hivtravel.org. That is great. I'm going to place it underneath, and you can go to that website. Okay, I'm only going to specifically focus on Dubai. Okay, if you are going to Dubai for tourism purposes, meaning that you are just there for a month, for 60 days, okay, you're just there for tourism, you just want to see the place, vibes, whatever. You're not there to stay. You just want to see how the place is like, have vacation there with your family, and have a good time. You apply for, obviously, a visa. Okay, we applied for a visa, and there are different types of visas. There is a tourist visa, which allows you to be there for 60 days. Okay, and then there is a work visa, there is a relocation visa. There's different types of visas that you are going to be applying for depending on why you're there. For us, because we're only going there for tourism purposes, we just only wanted to see the country and leave. Okay, we received the visa form. The visa form only contains information around who are you, your date of birth, where you were born, how long you're staying, where are you staying, have you booked your flights, are you traveling alone, who are you traveling with, how much money do you have. That's it. It didn't ask any questions relating to HIV, health, or anything like that, honestly. So it didn't say anything or ask anything relating to any health specific questions. I got this visa form after I booked our flights. Okay, so I'll explain the flight process later on. So after I booked my flights, I got an email from the airline to say I need to, book my visa. Here's the information where I need to book my visa. Then, because they were not responsive on their website, and quite frankly, I prefer speaking to a person than do the online thing, because sometimes it can get confusing. So I called them, the visa office, the Dubai visa office, and asked to speak to some consultant or anyone that can help me. I got the email address and they forwarded me these forms. Filled out these forms, paid the amount that I needed to pay, and then I sent back these forms. Ne? And a couple of days later, I received my visa. Literally, I think I forwarded the form either on a Thursday or Friday, and by Sunday, Monday, I received my visa back. To say your visa has been approved. Here's the 2-page that you should print out and hand over to the official when you are that side. That's it. There was nothing more that I needed to do. So I had that visa form. I did not see a need for me to go an extra hand when the form did not say, are you HIV positive or not? Or is there any disclosure that the officials of this country should know about? Okay, I do not feel I need to voluntarily share that information because I did not see a need. Okay, and this is very similar. I'm well traveled, and I've been to Egypt, I've been to New York, I've been to London. When I went to London the year before, remember when I went to those awards? Also, there was nothing that said, hey, any health related questions, right? Even when I go to America, no health related questions, only when you apply for a tourist visa. Tourist visa is for a short period of time. Okay? So I did not feel the need that I should volunteer all this information. When I was packing to leave, I packed my medication, packed it in my bag, and also because you know how Ilantuka guys bags can be left behind, or we left it in South Africa and it's only coming the following day. So what I usually do is that I half the medication. I'm paranoid. I overthink. Okay, if you're not this person, that it's okay. I overthink. Hey, what if I lose my bag? What if my bag doesn't come in after a couple of days when I land in the country? So to protect myself, I half my medication. Half of my medication is in what do you call the bag that goes, airplane, right? And then I have a stash of my medication in my travel bag, the one that I take with me inside the plane. I've never, ever had a security taking out my medication and asking me what this medication is about. Ever. In all the travels that I've done over the last 10 years, ever had that. The reason why I have to emphasize this is because there was a person that said, even when officials find your medication, you are at risk of being deported. I've never heard this, but I do understand where this person is coming from. And that is why it may be very important if you want to add an extra layer of security, if you want to add an extra layer of, making sure that you're protecting yourself and you are prepared. You can bring in a certificate from your doctor, basically explaining what the medication is for. Mm-hmm. But guys, honestly, there are few countries. You can see from the list, there are very few countries. And these countries I'm not going to judge. You might have interest in going to those countries, but it's not countries that they are really prominent when it comes to like tourism and all of that. The countries that are quite known for tourism purposes, they don't have a restriction when you only want to go there for tourism purposes. Okay, if you want to go there just for a short period of time. So that's what I did. I didn't volunteer the information on my visa. I had my medication with me on the plane. I was not searched and no one asked me what the medication is for. Okay. And Dubai does not have a restriction or does not at any point ask you to declare or disclose your HIV status when you are just there for leisure. Okay, so yeah, that's basically what happened with me. It changes when you want to go and stay in a country. Then there's a whole process that you should follow. Okay, so the last time when I referenced to China, so what usually happens is now you don't apply for a tourism visa. You apply for either a work visa or another visa that I'm not sure about at this point, but I think it is a work visa. The work visa entails a long process which involves a health assessment. Ne? It's so specific to a point where the assessment is not even done by you. They don't say, oh, okay, no, go to the doctor and they must check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They do it specifically them through their own agents, their own hospitals. They do that. Ne? And if you are found during the application process of working in that particular country that you are living with the HIV, most likely you will not be accepted into the program. If you are found to be HIV positive, you will not be accepted into the program. Why do they do this? They may have a lot of reasons known to them, but what we understand is that they want to contain the number of people living with HIV in that country. Okay, so HIV is seen as kind of like a burden when it from a health perspective in a country. What I mean about that is ARVs are very expensive. ARVs are very expensive, and generally you try to contain the number of people, the number of citizens that are living with HIV in that country. So these countries do not want to add on to the number that they already have, because they say, so now we're gonna have to cater for this one, also for ARVs and for any other illness or whatever is going to happen here. Then that one as well. Then we have to accept that one. Hey, Sana, but we had 12%. Or we had 1% of people living with HIV. Now, after accepting these people, it's gonna push us to 10%. Son, it's not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. So it is seen as, a burden, or they do not want to increase the number of people dependent on the government through ARVs and so forth. So that is why they want to contain the number as small as possible, and do not want to add on by accepting other people. Okay. South Africa is different. South Africa is different because obviously it does not view it that way. I've yet to see specifically what South Africa's travel bans are when it comes to HIV. I've never heard. I've done some kind of research. I've never seen specific HIV restrictions when it comes to South Africa accepting people living with HIV. I'll be very surprised given that we don't have any other restrictions when it comes to, for example, migration, when it comes to, accepting people from other countries for various reasons. So I'll be very surprised if South Africa has restrictions when it comes to HIV. If you have that information, please include it in the comment section. Ne? A lot of people feel this is unfair because of our country's stand when it comes to welcoming people from other countries to live in South Africa, whether legally or not. Ne? And Tina, if we want to reside in other countries, we are not accepted or we are not welcomed. This is the politics of it all, okay, guys. And okay, I had intentionally forgot about what this actually means over time, until someone on my DMs literally reached out to me when I was explaining just a little bit on my social media platforms about this. And she said, so Nazo, basically what you're saying that because I'm HIV positive, I can't relocate overseas, or if I have prospects to relocate overseas, I basically can't. Hey guys, it actually took me a minute, and I was like, yes, this is actually what it means. Your HIV status is literally restricting you from certain opportunities. That broke my heart. That actually, I don't know, that triggered me to some degree. And I didn't even have prospects of going overseas. I don't know why that triggered me. Okay. So yeah, that when you want to relocate, when you want to work, or we want to stay longer than 6 months in that country, there are certain systems or a procedure that you need to follow, and that includes a health assessment. And if that health assessment proves that, or gives an indication that you're living with HIV, you're not accepted. Let's say now you are not living with HIV, when you're applying, it gave out a negative result. Yeah? Then you are on the other side. You've been working there for quite some time, a year or so, whatever. And after a certain period of time, they do these routine health assessments. And if you are found out to be HIV positive, you are deported, sent back to your country. Because once again, you are not going to be dependent on our government to provide for you here. You must go back to your own country. So that is the reality of e-restriction bans and what happens when you are living with HIV and considering going overseas. Okay. Once again, I will include the website where you can see the list of these countries that have restriction bans, and you can have that information. That is going to help. So that's how I traveled. I didn't even think twice about it. I honestly didn't even think twice when I was, applying for my visa, when I was, packing, when I was going through the officials, when I was that side. I did not think about any of that because I've done this quite a couple of times, and I know, the routine and what you should do and what you should not do. I don't know, maybe it's me. If they don't ask, I won't necessarily volunteer all of this information. Why? Because now then I'm making a big deal about it. Do you get what I mean? So I'm not going to do that. Then I'm going to talk about, medication and when you should take it. So you take medication at a specific time at home. Let's say you're taking it at 8 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. in the evening, depending on the medication that you're taking. Some people take it in the evening, some take it in the morning. Dubai is 2 hours ahead. Yes, 2 hours ahead. So it is advisable because you need to take the medication at a specific time every day. I usually advise, because obviously you have for control purposes and for my own sanity, I have the alarms. So I have an alarm when I need to take my medication. I take my medication at the same time as my home country. So what I mean about that, because the time changes automatically when you're that side, then I have to condition myself by, okay, I'm taking my medication at 8 a.m. in the morning. The time has already changed. Up at Dubai, it's 8 a.m. now. That means in South Africa, in Dubai, it's 10 a.m. That means in South Africa, it's 8 a.m. So I did not pass my time in taking my medication. So what I mean basically, guys, is that I time my medication on my home time. So that's how I took my medication. I'm taking my medication at 8 a.m. When it's 10 a.m. in Dubai, I know already about, because South Africa is 2 hours behind. And that's the strategy that I've used. I would recommend it for anyone else because galok, the time differences does have an impact. For example, Dubai is not like the worst case scenario. Let's say you are in New York. New York, literally, what is New York? And then is it, how many hours? I'm gonna find out. But what I do know is, for example, in New York, when I was working for this international NGO a couple of years ago, when it was 3 in the afternoon, I think it was around 3 in the afternoon. Prior, it was like 8 or 9 in the morning. So there was like a vast time difference. I would advise someone to still work on home time. Still work on home time. Unless also, once again, there is a clinician that can advise us when it comes to this. Please do. Okay. Now let's go into the nice things with regards to costs. How did we choose Dubai? And yeah, how much did we pay for all of that? I'm not going to specifically talk about costs, but I will guide you in terms of where you should go. And if you go there, then you're kind of going to know how much these things cost, okay? But I'm not going to voluntarily share that information, okay? So how did we choose Dubai? School's dream has always been to go to Bali. Till now, School's aim or dream is to go to Bali. Maybe we'll go there for his 50th birthday, okay, in 3 years to come. So School would have preferred Bali, but literally Bali is having to take a flight from here, I think, to Doha or wherever, and then take another connecting flight. It was going to be a long journey. It was just the 2 of us. It would have been better, but now we needed to think about Tuluming on Pagat. I was not gonna do that. Okay, that's where I was not going to test my limits. That was the first international flight that is ever taken. I'm not gonna take him all the way to Bali. Okay. And we also needed to think about, gosh, Ulumi now is at a stage he's exploring with his food and all of that. And Bali, from what I've seen, is very specific when it comes to kutya kwabo. And I was also not going to test all of that. I needed someplace kind of familiar and more international, if that makes sense. If Bali is international, I apologize, okay? I didn't mean that Bali is not international. So we needed a place that's international, but that's not that far off. And Dubai was the only one that we could think of. At first, it's very funny because we were like, Bali. Actually, it was not me. It was my husband. Bali is very artificial. But then when I was like, hey, won't you consider going to Dubai? Dubai is very artificial. Wouldn't you consider going to Dubai and all of that? We can't stay here for holidays. We've worked hard. We need a holiday. And he was like, yes, let's do it. Okay. So that was the whole reason. We needed a place that's far enough, but then not that far. So when I checked the flights, it said it's only about 7.5 hours. I was like, yeah, there you go. And also the time zone. The time zone, it's about 2 hours ahead, so it's not bad. Unlike other, international spots. So immediately I went online. For the first time, I did not use a travel agent. Actually, for the second time. For the Zimbabwe trip, I did not do Zambia. When we went to Zambia, we did not use a travel agent. The last time we used a travel agent was when we went to, where did we go to again? Was it Thailand? Mauritius. That was the last time we used a travel agent. So with this one, I was like, man, let me do it myself. So I went to Emirates. That was the airline that we used. We went to Emirates. We searched for flights. It is better I think that that's the first thing that you should do if you're considering traveling. The first thing you should do is look at flights. Book your flights very far ahead, okay? If you are looking already to consider some kind of a holiday this year, for December, book them now. They're more cheaper now. But obviously, like more June or whatever, you can still get away with it. But you can't book your flights like a month before or go December. They're going to be very expensive. So when we considered this, when was it? I think it was around July, August. When I was like, hey, what are we doing for December? Maybe we should be looking at, holiday spots. So went to Emirates. Literally, very self-explanatory, guys. traveling from Johannesburg, going to Dubai. We are two adults, one child who's under 2, and then they give you different options of what you should basically, what you could consider. So we did that. That was quite self-explanatory. Immediately we could pick like a seats that we can be allocated. Guys, that was it. Literally went to Emirates, booked the flights, we paid, and that's it. Sent an automated email with all our tickets and all of that, and that's it. Then we received that email if we wanted further assistance when it comes to our visas, and all of that information is in their website with regards to e-visa. A tip: there is a process where you can apply for a visa through Emirates, or you can apply for a visa directly from the Dubai office. I would advise that you apply directly. The process through Emirates is more expensive. That's what I saw. The process through Emirates is more expensive. Okay, e-visa costs. That was 3,000 rand. Ne? It was 3,000 rand for Skwenai, and then I think it was around 400 rand, less than 500 rand for Ulumi, right? So those are the visa costs. Then the second thing that I went to, this one took longer. It was accommodation. I consulted a couple of people. I did my own research. I went to booking.com, and like all the time I was looking at various hotels, the costs, the reviews as well. Just because the hotel is more expensive doesn't mean that it's better, right? There was one hotel in particular, I think it was a Hilton, and we almost took that one because it's the Hilton. It's the Hilton. But every time I went through like the reviews, people were complaining about how, hey, we paid so much money, but it's not the standard of the Hilton, and the rooms are dirty. There's a lot going on. Then you're like, we're not gonna do this one. So I kept changing which accommodation I wanted. I didn't rush that process. I remember I didn't rush that process. And then we eventually settled with the courtyard. Would I change my accommodation? No. It was okay. It was really okay. Although I realized that it was like downtown in Dubai. Like it was downtown. But yeah, it was fine. I thought it was fine. So I used booking.com to look at reviews, to look at costs, and then eventually when I booked my accommodation, I booked directly to the through the website. I found that it wasn't much of a difference when it comes to costs. And what I wanted to do is because I wanted to speak to someone there, right? I wanted to speak to someone there. So that was the accommodation. What other costs were involved? No, it was just the flights, the visa, the accommodation, and then just being that side. Guys, go duru pie. Go duru girl pie at Dubai. You understand? Guys, I think I did share, or I think I shared it on like Instagram stories and stuff. Guys, go duru pie. There was a point, you remember the video when we were at the beach? There was like a restaurant that was there, and we ordered like 2 orange juice glasses, 400 rand, 200 rand each. You understand? That was expensive. No, man. Tourist and maybe there's another Dubai that we should have explored that is less expensive. But there was a point where I think we paid about 1.2 for breakfast. 1.2 for a breakfast for Usko and I. Usko at one point was like, Sana, I also enjoy a trip if my obala in my little spend up for good, okay? I also enjoy it too. So it is expensive. Please prepare yourself. Ne? Some costs that you can save, or some things that you can look at. Although, yeah, just explore. Just keep an open mind and explore different ways where you can save money. I don't know. But I do regret this. So when I was booking, I included the breakfast into my accommodation because I thought, oh, it's going to save us costs and all of that. That was a bigger mistake because we actually did not use a la breakfast. We did not use that breakfast because of the time difference, because of ulumi, and we ended up not eating breakfast at the hotel. By the time we wake up and we are finished getting done, it's already like 11 and it's past the breakfast time. We missed it all the time. So we'll have to now order extra breakfast, or we'll have to order like ilanji, and we paid for that. So I would advise when you're booking your accommodation to do not include breakfast. In actual fact, just like explore different spots for a breakfast so that you don't lose that money. That was the biggest regret, that I included a breakfast into our accommodation costs, because we ended up not using, or we ended up not eating breakfast at the hotel. We ended up eating breakfast somewhere else, or ended up eating lunch. Okay, so prepare for that. Yeah, no, budget yakho. Yeah, I understand. Iti utyeba nje kancinci. In terms of how much money you should bring, I do not know. It depends on you. There are people who drink, we don't drink, thank God. Okay, I cannot imagine if we like drank alcohol. Bana mhlambi izawuba imali yonke le nto. Thank you, Lord. Okay, so yeah, the food was expensive. The food was expensive. The tourist stuff was also very expensive. We went to that underwater zoo. Yeah, that underwater zoo. Hey, I think we paid like 2K for the tickets. Okay, that was expensive. Okay, the tourist stuff, please be prepared for that. Maybe you can book way in advance. We couldn't because we were traveling with Ulomi, so we needed to consider that. We can't say, but definitely we're gonna go to here. We decided literally on the day, but okay, let's go here. If you're just traveling alone, then definitely you can pre-book your tickets. You can way in advance. There are websites for you to do that. So yeah. Hi man, guys, what's the thing? Lando imhlophe. The thing when we went to the desert, the safari desert. And if we had taken, both of us, Square and I had taken those things, would have cost like 7K, 8K, 7 to 8K. That's when we decided, no, school should be the ones and because he loves that stuff. I don't mind either way, okay? As long as I have my pictures, have my videos, I have my memories, I'm cool. So no, expensive, Yon. Expensive. So just prepare yourself. If you plan ahead, guys, it can actually work out much cheaper. And also what you should consider is that we went at their busiest time, like good December. Everyone, not everyone, but like their peak when it comes to their tourism. So maybe that the cost factor, that added into the cost factor. I'm not sure. So yeah, I hope this video helps, guys. I think I've covered everything that I needed to cover. And if you are planning to go to Dubai, have a good time. And think about South Africa or your bank balance after you return. The worst thing you can do when you're traveling overseas is converting. And I do it all the time. And that's why I'm saying it. Do not do it because you're not going to enjoy it. Okay? Don't do it. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if there's any more information that you'd like to share, you'd like to ask, please make sure that you include it in the comment section. Otherwise, I appreciate that you joined us today. I'll see you next time. Mwah!